We continue. In chapter 12, the beinoni, as we are hopefully all on the same page. And that is B-I-T, beinoni in training. What do we explain? The beinoni in training that we are aspiring towards is mastery. Mastery over the garments of self-expression of the soul, which are thought, speech, and action. That we can have total mastery over a willful, contemplative, meditated thought, that we are in control over, our speech and our actions. What the beinoni doesn't have control over, as opposed to the tzaddik, is the emotions. When we say emotions here, not a conscious emotions, an urge in the heart that comes to conscious awareness in the thought process. Once it comes to the thought process, the beinoni is able then to discard that negative urge, which we'll speak more about. But the urge in the heart, the perspective of mind, in other words, some people are just naturally, the cup is half empty and therefore see things negative. Some people naturally have a, let's say, low self-esteem. Just the way their perspective of mind, and maybe obviously through events and things that have happened through life. So they don't have power over that perspective. The righteous person does, as we've explained, which is something hard to fathom. That's why they're eons beyond us. So the beinoni doesn't have that. The beinoni is capable, though, during prayer, to have the urges of the heart, so to speak, take a back burner. And why is it? So this is one of the ideas that the Alter Rebbe brings out today in the Chiddush, the novel teachings of today, is that during prayer, the beinoni is capable of using the mind and contemplating, meditating upon the greatness of God, of the realness of God in their life, in the world, in creation, that it's so palpable that materiality is distant. So much so that there isn't an urge for anything that is, self-generated, seeking pleasure. Breakfast is not on the mind. Some people, prayers are like, I'm sure there's no one here, but for some people, prayers are about when is it over? Something you go through, rather than it's something you live through. It's sort of like, you got to get over with the prayers because you got to get on to the next thing. You got to pray because you got to pray. But no, that's for sure not a beinoni training. Definitely not a beinoni. Oh, prayer is about something that you live through. So the beinoni is able to have such a profound awareness because he learned, Chassidus, Tanya, Chassidus beforehand, meditates, contemplates upon it in such a real way that the soul's on fire because the meditation, the brain leads to the heart. And the heart's aflame. The problem is, I don't know if it's a problem, but the reality is that it only lasts during the prayer. Afterwards, the urges of the heart, which have not been transformed by the beinoni, still has urges for permissible and even non-permissible things, desiring them in the heart, but doesn't allow that to be cogitated thought, meditated thought, or willful thought, when that urge comes to the mind, quickly discards it, doesn't allow it entering the mind to, to have a sinful thought. Again, that thought doesn't get a place to land. Why is the thought coming there? We only think about those things we have a feeling towards. So the feeling is there, but it doesn't have a place to land, because if it doesn't land in your conscious awareness of your thoughts, then it just recedes back to the urges of the heart that are sort of the subconscious level of one's emotions. And because of that, that person's not a tzaddik, not a righteous person, because the righteous doesn't even have that. Now, how they're able to do that if it's not a time of prayer? So Alter Rebbe explains, because of the other type of love that there is, which we'll learn a lot more about starting chapter 17, a lot more about. It's called Ava Mesuteres, a hidden love. That hidden love is not something you create. The love that you create is through the mind and contemplation, because you learned something and you know something, you learn Tanya and you contemplate and you think about it, and it feeds the heart. And then there is a feeling towards God. I'm sure we've all tried that, I hope we've tried it with other people. And sometimes we don't feel a love towards them. We think about them, we think something positive about them, think good about them. And it brings a feeling towards them. Well, we need to do that for God in our prayers, before our prayers. But what keeps the beinoni going after the prayers when it's gone? Whatever you think that leads to the heart, after you've finished thinking it, contemplating it, meditating it, it's not affecting the heart anymore. Cause and effect is gone. So then where is there going to be now the capability of, when you go into your daily routine, daily life, that you're going to be able to have the strength to not allow those negative thoughts come and control you? Because there's an Ava Mesuteres, the hidden love. That hidden love, again, which we'll discuss much more later, allows for the beinoni to push away any folly. Now, the Alter Rebbe says like this, quoting from the Talmud, there are three things that a person is not saved from every day, unless they're righteous, right? What are that negative, meaning illicit thoughts, concentration in your prayers, that mind doesn't go astray. And the third thing is gossip, speaking about others. Those are three things that we, the beinoni, and us who are merely a beinoni in training, we're not beinonis, have a challenge every day. That those things will come to our minds. And therefore, we need to be able to deal with it. Now, here's an interesting point. Alter Rebbe says, it seems to be counterintuitive, but he says that negative thoughts are actually more heinous, are more treacherous, are worse than negative actions. Sinful thoughts are worse than sinful actions. How does that make sense? It's, again, very counterintuitive. So the explanation is as follows. The Alter Rebbe actually, it just says this here in passing, by the way. In the previous chapter, we dealt with it also. So, okay, Leanna, afterwards you'll come and join on, okay? When we get to I know now that. So the Alter Rebbe explains, or I mean, the explanation is here. He doesn't explain this. He just makes a statement. But actions in respect to another person, of course, actions are much worse than thought. If you did an action of hurting somebody, right, verbally or and you know, taking away something that belongs to them, hurting them physically, of course, to the other person, it is worse. But thought is worse to you. A sinful thought, rather than sinful action, is worse upon the soul, upon the person, than the actions. Why? Because actions are something, in a sense, outside of you. They're not a reflection of you. Thought is a true reflection of you. As the Baal Shem Tov says, and the Alter Rebbe is not saying this here, I'm just giving added explanation. In the thoughts of the individual, that's where they're found. You're not found in your actions. That's not who you are, your actions, because your actions might do one thing, but they're not really a reflection of who you are. Your speech is not really a true reflection of you, because you can say, I love you, not really mean it. Right? But your thoughts is a true reflection of where you're at. Because why do you think what you think? You think what you think because you feel what you feel. And you know what you know. Your feelings are the deeper part of you. Now, the feelings here might be our subconscious feelings first, that then emerge to the conscious thought. Again, you know, if you have no, I don't know, feelings about didn't realize. Okay. You have no feelings for organic, soya rice milk or whatever. You have no feelings about it. You're never going to think about it. But if you have very strong feelings about it, like some people about chocolate, some people about pizza, all right? Some people, whatever, other things. People that they love, people that they hate. Those are the things you're going to think about. So that's a true expression of where you're at. So therefore, the sinful thoughts, the negative thoughts that are entertained in the person are a much greater reflection of where the person's at. So the beinoni has those cravings in the heart that are negative, not permitted, sinful. But they don't enter the mind to actually transgress in actual practice of thought, in actual, again, cogitated, meditated, willful thought, conscious thought. That is powerful idea. Okay, folks, short class actually today that I somehow made longer. I know now that. Yesterday we had David and Batya that came on. First, I'd like everybody to take a moment and write in the comments, what did you learn from today? New? There are actually maybe 3 things that were of a nuance today that we didn't learn previously, and please share it, and I can share with everybody. This is in order to, first of all, get people engaged in the learning, and that the learning, you come away with something that you actually know better, know more clearly, Because when you have to verbalize it, as in writing it, that makes you own it much more so. Chris says, I know now that I'm actually a very well-behaved individual towards others. To myself, I got a lot of work on. Okay, thank you, Chris, but that's wonderful. And if you can also share from what the learning you know now. Denise, I know now that my thoughts and not my actions are the true reflection of myself. I need to be conscious to guard my thoughts as well as speech. Excellent. TJ, I know now that the beinoni, there is no urge to seek pleasure during prayer, and that they are capable of focusing so much during their prayer and desire seems distant. However, when they finish prayer, such desire return to their mind. Excellent. Very good. John, I know now that I seek mastery over the conflict from the urges of my left ventricle and the three garments of the animal soul to disallow these negative feelings from exhibiting behaviorally. Beinoni training. Excellent. Thank you. Batya, I know now that the beinoni has desires for things that are and are not permissible, but isn't expressed through the garments. Excellent. Truth is, that's something that we knew already from previous classes. That's not something unique in today's class. But very true what you're saying. Cindy, I know now that sinful thoughts are worse than sinful actions. The action is worse to others, but the thought is a reflection of you. Excellent, Cindy. Very well said. Nathalis, I hope I pronounced that right. I know now that it's crucial to be aware of your heart. Okay. Rena, I know now that prayer is something to live through, right? Too. Thoughts are a reflection of you. Excellent. Erica, I know now that negative bad thoughts are much worse for me than any negative action. Right. Again, just to clarify that, about ourselves, not about the effect on others. Okay? Lacey, thoughts matter. Good. David, I know now that the thoughts are a reflection of who you are and affect your soul, but affect another less than it affects another. But your actions are outside of you and they affect you less, but they affect another worse than your thoughts. Okay, excellent. Tony, the thoughts are the true self of ourselves. Excellent. Jody, my thoughts are where I'm at. Excellent. Eugenia, I know now that contemplating Hashem's greatness and focusing on prayer, beinoni prevents negative thoughts and feelings from entering the consciousness. Excellent. Hannah, I know now that negative actions committed against another person is worse than to the other person. Sinful negative thoughts, however, sinful thoughts are worse than action to you because it is a true reflection of you. A deeper part of your subconscious thought emerges as a conscious thought. Very good. Excellent. By the way, when you do an action, usually you have to have a thought that goes together with it. But sometimes actions are just, you did it with not thinking, right? Just to put that out there. Jody, but if I take or make good actions, can't their actions help my thoughts? Yes, absolutely. What you're saying is true, Jody. We're not talking about the remedy here. We're talking about the problem. You're right. Through good actions, that can help form better thoughts. Absolutely. And that's part of the remedy, which we'll get into later. Okay? But very good point. Pamela, I know now that thoughts are deeper than my actions. Yes, a deeper reflection of my soul and where my soul is at. Very good. Debbie, and how do we distinguish between thoughts that pop up and thoughts that are entertained? Well, the moment you're consciously aware of them, that means now you have the choice to cogitate it, meditate it, think about it, or push it away. Bring another thought in instead, right? But when the thought enters your head, it's like you saw somebody who did harm to you in the past. And even though you really don't have negative feelings towards a person, but you know, you kind of worked it through. But, you know, there can be still lingering things in the heart. So now you see the person, and the thought comes up about the negative thing that they did, and you're thinking it. And you say, whoa, hey, I dealt with it. Push it away. You know, have compassion on that person. Whatever. I'm just giving that by way of example. Okay? Because our minds, all sorts of thoughts, and many feel guilty by those firing, I'm not sure, feelings. How do we say they are not entertained and we don't have to be concerned about these things to be entertained? Thought process is, as you say, a greater problem. Okay, Debbie, I need a little clarification on what you're saying here. I'm not clear. I don't know if it's a spelling mistake or something. Please clarify. Okay. At least I know now that bad thoughts are harmful and okay. Amy, Rabbi, I'm confused. I thought it was worse to act out your thoughts. Again, when you do an action, often your thoughts are there in the action. Right? Absolutely. We're talking about what is more of a reflection of the you. You can do an action, and the action was not thought out, not planned, right? Like you could, I don't know, thinking your child did something, and you gave an inappropriate hit to your child, right? You didn't think it. It was more gut reaction, wasn't contemplated. Right? But if you're thinking about hitting your child and thinking, yeah, oh, you know, they upset me, they hurt my feelings, right? That thought is more of a stain on your soul than the actual hitting. The act, of course, there can be a thought that goes with that action. And when it does, the thought part of it is a bigger stain than the action of it. On one level. On another level, that just because you had a thought doesn't mean you had to act that out. That means you had less control. But it's a reflection of where am I at? Who am I? The thoughts of the person, that's where you are. Benjamin, do thoughts affect another person? Yes, they do, but not in the same manner. Another discussion. Jody, I know now that I am so elevated in shul and in prayer, right after I am still just who I am. Why? Oh, why you? Okay. Not where I hope to be. I always wondered why I could be so different in shul. Yeah, elevated moments. You're right. Okay. Engaging, interacting really does help with the learning, Cindy says. Great. Hannah says it's really difficult to stop negative thoughts coming in. You're right. It is. Let's not fool ourselves. It totally is. And that's called serving God. You know, there's many people that, you know, when it comes to thought, they don't think that that's, you know, that's not my behavior, what I say and what I do. Judaism says, no, your thoughts are part of behavior. It's a garment of self-expression. And we are responsible for it. If you really believe in God, then you understand that. If you only think that there's no God, there's only the other person. So then, my actions I'm going to be careful with. But that's it. Right? But that's it. I'm not going to be careful with my thoughts. But you really believe in God? Oh, yes, you will be. Andrew, I know now that during prayers, putting on feeling concentration on each word to push away negative thoughts is one word and prayer at a time. Excellent. Okay, Debbie, I'll have to get back to this. Not a problem. Okay, Leanna, are you ready to come on and to share? I'm ready to come on. And if you could share, if there's someone else would like to come. I'm not certain where it is, but there's a place that you could request to come on live. And that would be amazing. Because that adds, as we did yesterday. Eddie, how do you stop thinking negative thoughts about others? Tomorrow's class is about others. Today we're talking about us. Tomorrow we're going to talk about others. Thank you for segueing into the important class for tomorrow. Leanna, I don't think you're there. Anybody else who would like to, yeah, David, encourage them. I see you're cute. Thank you. Jody, Shabbos is a day of refuge from our thoughts. I'm, well, can have negative thoughts on Shabbos, but I guess it is definitely a day of refuge, and it can be. Yeah, Dubba, we're going to wait for, I want people to think. Okay, Diane, you'll get your thoughts together for tomorrow. Anybody else? Give a last moment's chance. And okay, there's no pressure over here, but so TJ says it doesn't come up on my laptop, but on my phone, on his Samsung, the option to request to come online is near the bottom of the video. Okay. Okay. So Leanna, maybe tomorrow. All right, folks. To be continued tomorrow, we're going to conclude with this idea that we're learning. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you for Chabad, Zichron and Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a pleasure, privilege, and a pleasure to share with you, Tanya. Folks, please share it with others. And to be continued. Have a wonderful day.